to see you back, friends, after the break. Today we are discussing management aptitude test, that is MAT, with our expert Rajesh Sharaf. Let's continue our discussion. Rajesh, I would like to ask regarding the eligibility criteria for MAT and what is the selection procedure for these kind of B schools?
If you look at the eligibility criteria for writing MAT, graduates from any background, whether it is BA or BSc or BCom or BTech or BArch, they are eligible to write the exam.
Like students from any stream can appear for it?
Any stream, that is one. A final year candidate can also write the exam. Now that is also one of the biggest advantage. Apart from that, there is the other advantage in the sense that there is no age bar for writing the examination. At the same time, no work experience is required.
All right.
And in fact, it's not mandatory that the candidate must be having more than 50% marks in the graduation level. Now what it means, that there is an opportunity for a candidate who might not have done well at the graduation level to really write the MAT exam.
And what is the pattern of examination?
If you consider MAT examination, the test pattern, it's an objective type test with a total of 200 questions, each question having 1 mark. And yes, there is a negative marking, so the candidate has to be aware of this particular fact. They cannot just simply randomly mark the answer for any question.
Until unless they are sure about it, because they can
have
negative
to be very
marking.
sure about it. They have to be very sure about it. Now there is a negative marking to the tune of 25%. That is 1/4. However, there is no mark which is deducted for leaving out any question. Now the total time which is allotted for the entire paper is 150 minutes. In these 150 minutes, broadly the kind of areas which are being tested in the candidate, there are 5 different test areas. 1, language comprehension, mathematical skills, intelligence and critical reasoning, data analysis and sufficiency, and Indian and global environment.
So you mean to say there are 5 different sections for this examination?
There are only 5 different test areas. There is only 1 section, and the questions are spread randomly across the entire paper. For example, what does that really mean? The first 20 questions could be from Indian and global environment. The next 10 questions could be from data analysis and sufficiency. The next 30 questions could be from mathematical skills, and the next 20 questions from language comprehension. So there is no fixed order in which the questions are being given. So from that point of view, it is important that the candidate allocates the time judiciously for the entire paper, because it is important for him to score marks, which means he has to pick up the easier questions out of the entire set of 200 questions, and which is only possible when he is aware of the different kind of the models which have been coming across in the exam.
And what is the description of these test areas?
Language comprehension, for example, if you just consider the recently held MAT exam, which was in the month of Feb 2009. In language comprehension, 50% of these questions were from reading comprehension. There were 4 passages, and each passage 5 questions were asked. The other set, that is the remaining 50% of the questions, were from verbals area. Now to do well in the verbals area, it is important that a candidate has a good vocabulary backed by the grammar, the complete understanding of the grammar, that will really help him to score well in the verbals. The other important aspect, verbals is an important area. This is the highly scoring area. There are questions which can be attempted pretty fast. Questions, let's say, on analogies or synonyms and antonyms or fill in the blanks. So if a candidate is equipped with the word power, he can easily go through all these questions and can do them pretty fast. So that way he has the time advantage as compared to maybe, let's say, an RC question, that is the reading comprehension question. Now the reading comprehension questions, the nature of the passages which we have over there, they could be taken from different sources. They could be from history or geography, or they could be from scientific or technological base, or it could be philosophical in nature as well. But the good thing which has been observed in the MAT exam, even though the passages might be lengthy, the questions are direct and straightforward. Now what it really means is, that the candidate has to scan through the questions and then try to locate the answers from the passages.
Okay.
Now, once that is done, he will be in a position to answer, if not all, but at least 70% of the reading comprehension questions.
Okay.
Now, that is the first test area, which is about the language comprehension.
Okay.
Coming to the second one, which is mathematical skills. Now, more than 70% of the questions in mathematical skills are from arithmetic areas. A candidate has to, now the kind of a knowledge which is being tested as far as mathematical skills is concerned, a very basic level of understanding in maths is required to be in a position to crack the mathematical skills test area. Questions will be from different subtopics like equations, ratio, proportion and variation, time in work, time in distance, averages, mixtures and allegations, percentages, profit and loss, and so on. For example, let's take a question over there. If the price of a commodity increases by 25%,
Okay.
by what percentage it has to be brought down to bring it back to the original level? Now, this is a very simple, straightforward question, but the candidate has to really prepare for it to be in a position to really crack this question in the exam. Data analysis and sufficiency test area has basically two different components. One, which is data interpretation. In February 2009, there were approximately 6 to 7 DI sets. To be in a position to crack the data analysis and sufficiency test area, the candidate should be knowledgeable about the different types of charts.
Okay.
He should be in a position to interpret the charts correctly.
Okay.
Now, the charts could be in the form of bar graph, or it could be pie charts, three-dimensional forms, it could be bar graph, stat graph, it could be in any other form.
Okay.
Now, once he can really do that, then it's all that candidates, it's all in his favor.
Okay.
That is, he will be in a position to really score well in that particular area.
Okay.
Intelligence and critical reasoning have questions from multiple areas like number series, letter series, blood relations, odd man out, coding, decoding. Now, these are the kind of questions, and it has been observed that on an average 6 to 7 questions of these type are being asked on an average every exam. And these are the kind of question, that is number series, letter series, odd man out, coding, decoding, they don't take much of a time. So, it is important that the candidate first, after scanning through the entire paper, locates all these questions and try to attempt all these questions first.
Okay.
Now, if he can do that, again, it's all to his advantage, because he's prepared in advance that these are the kind of questions which will be coming, and once he sees these kind of the questions in the paper, he can simply go ahead and attempt all these questions.
Okay. So, I believe in order to appear or crack math, the most important thing is time management. How judiciously a student is able to allocate time to each question.
That is extremely important. It's all about time management, because the time which is given to a candidate is 150 minutes. Now, one important aspect over here, in the consolidated score, it contains the score of only the first 4 test areas.
Okay.
Indian and global environment, that is not accounted for in the consolidated score. So, it is important that 150 minutes of the time be judiciously allocated. Indian and global environment, since that section or that area rather is not coming across in the consolidated score, a candidate should not spend more than, let's say, 7 to 8 minutes on this particular test area, and the remaining 140 to 143 minutes of time should be given to the remaining test areas.
Okay. Friends, today we are getting to know a lot regarding management aptitude test from our expert. We will continue our discussion, but after a short while. It's time now to take a short break. So do not go anywhere and continue watching Yuva Bharat.
Yuva Bharat.